Well, hello. Let's get back into this to finish off where I left off. Again, there's a lot of um, black people, my people, that are calling things in life anything negative they go through. They're calling it uh, white. And they're, as I said yesterday, uh, covering everything with a black marker. They call it white, and then they strike it with blackness. Sometimes it's just a shot of blackness. Sometimes it's just a whole. It's just the whole thing is just black, And there's this thing where we fail to be able to look at other people, and it's not just this right here that I'm about to say. It's not just going on with black people versus white people, but it's a lot of other people versus Americans. We have this thing where we have a tendency to not let what's obviously better, what obviously makes more sense. We don't allow that to be a standard. Just because it doesn't come from us, we rebel against it and say, well, um, I'm going to argue that down or I'm not going to follow because, that could be a white thing or that could be, you know, Americans. That could be a Western thing. Okay. Um, but, people come over here to this country um, and they act like it's owed to them to be here. It's natural for them to be here. But yet it's not natural for us to, there it is again, that word, socially, to have social equality. Social equality. I live in a world today where I'm forced to basically keep my mouth shut about a lot of moral issues that I feel are immoral, so to speak. But to not defend or offend anyone, to not be a bigot, I have to keep my mouth shut. And there's this thing also where black folks are not allowed to be honest with other black folks. Because if you say something and you say, well, black folks have a habit of doing that, even if you're black, it's racist for you to say that. And I got people right now. I just had a friend say, hey, you want to go visit this church on Sunday? I said, no. Because I found out that the people that go to that church, we grew up in a church where we were taught to love everybody. But when I speak my mind, because some of them don't love everybody, and they love to take, when they got tons of white people, rooting for them, they like to take moments where they just like go off on white folks, just like everything, what I'm saying, like this whole Donald Trump thing. This is like a time to supposedly put white people in their place. And again, like I said, Donald Trump ain't got nothing going on or against black folks. He ain't got nothing going on with or going on against black folks. It just wasn't a topic for him. But yet, you know, and it just, this is where, you know, this is another reason why I don't support blackness, because black folks jump in the middle of fights that ain't theirs. What the frack do you care if illegals are going to be deported? Ain't none of them black. I don't care. If you're Spanish and you've been in this country this long and you never became legal, maybe you need to be deported. It's not my problem. What am I putting myself in the middle of this for? But black folks love a riot. They love, you know, and I'm not saying all black people, you know who I'm talking about. I'm talking about half of us. And I'm going to get into that in a second. Talking about half of us. Let me read through them again. I said what blackness is. Blackness is black consciousness, where everything you go through in life, you have to check your black compass. And if anything makes you unhappy, it goes against, it is attacking your blackness. It's attacking that so-called, you know, your black pride or whatever it is that you got. I call it black disease. I'm an American. This is ancient. This just tells me where my ancestors came from. This does not define what I listen to, what kind of music I listen to. Does not define what kind of women I go out with. This does not define what religion I'm involved in. This does not define you know, what kind of job I have or what my ethical social interests are. This does not spell welfare or swag life or heroin or weed smoking or you know, baby kids or whatever. This spells DeRoy Cruz, a Christian man who happens to be black. I'm a Christian man who happens to be black. Capitalize Christian. Make sure you capitalize the word Christian. I don't care if you capitalize the word black or not, because that's not what I'm concerned about. But let me go back through it. Here are the reasons why I don't support blackness, and I'm probably going to add more before I get this video over with. But hopefully, I won't be doing a part 3. The first reason is going all the way back to beginning, as I said yesterday, going all the way back to the beginning. Nothing was accomplished without the help of whites. When we crushed slavery, that was white folks that did that. It wasn't black folks. That was white folks that crushed slavery. Now people say, well, you know, Abraham Lincoln, he didn't really care about the slaves. He just, you know, he had some ulterior motives why he had to crush the slaves. Okay, what about all the other white people that was agreeing with him? What about all the white people that jumped on the bandwagon when he crushed slavery? God Almighty crushed slavery. Excuse me. God Almighty is the one that crushed slavery. But he did it through what? He did it through white folks and black folks. Now, don't get me wrong. We had civil wars, and there were wars where blacks fought, and they fought with their fists, and blood was spilled for them to get any respect. And it worked in some cases. But the initial changing of culture, the initial code of respect came through white folks agreeing to march right next to blacks. Okay? That's where it came from. Nothing was ever accomplished without the help of whites. Whether whites taught you how to do it, or whether you was working for whites, or whether you went to war with whites, and that's why you had to do it, nothing was accomplished without the help of whites. Number 2, permanent retaliation does not help fix racial problems, but only increases them. I said that yesterday. When you think that you're going to walk around and you're going to just rebel against anything because, you got upset because you lost your job, and it seemed like it was the black guys that were getting laid off, but the white guys were getting a stay. Whether that's 1 cases or 3 cases or 20 cases. Okay? The point is, retaliation does not solve the problem, especially when it's permanent, but it only increases it. There's other ways. This is what the court system is for. And I do believe that a black man can go to court for anything today. So use the court system. Don't riot. Don't even protest. If protest means you're going to stop traffic or loiter in front of a door. Look. There's ways of protesting that don't involve you being out on the street or blocking a door or doing anything that disturbs the public. You can have a free protest by just getting a meeting together and letting people let their voice be heard. You can go right here on YouTube and do a peaceful protest by, like I'm doing right now, making a video and making sure that many people have heard this video. You don't need to harass or block or retaliate or offend or do any kind of dirt in order to have a peaceful protest. I don't support anything that does that kind of behavior. I just don't. That's what we have the court systems for. That's why we go to court. Black folks don't want to spend the money, but that's what we have the courts for. White folks are willing to spend the money to get what they want. They're willing to raise the money and put that money where it needs to be to get the results that they need to get. Black folks, like I said in another video, have to learn how to evolve. Okay? So, I don't believe in permanent retaliation either. There's a time to retaliate. My kind of retaliation is when you try to blame me for something that I didn't do. We don't close shop until we get to the truth. And I've been through that, and I won. I'm not still working there, though. So, but I did win. I did win, and everybody that watched me walk out knew that I won that fair and square. Okay? Blackness, black attitudes, that is it gives black people a bad name. Whenever we as black people, when you swag, you make other black people, you make white people think things about me. Okay? Like, this is what the Call and Flattery channel is all about. This is what, David Duke is all about. Okay? When you do things negatively in public, when you expose yourself to be negative, you make it hard for all of us black people, not just yourself. You think when you go out there and swag and you go out there and act stupid and don't want to work and you want to collect and you want to have babies and don't have no way of supporting them, and you know what I'm saying? You giving the black community a bad name. Now I don't consider myself in the black community, but I will agree that you do give us as black people as a whole a bad name when you do things that you know are contrary, okay, to American culture. When you don't evolve, when you do things that are contrary to American culture, you give blacks a bad name. And don't get me wrong, it's not just black folks. There's some Asians that give Asians a bad name. There's some Arabs. There's a lot of Arabs. We know, everybody knows that ISIS gives Arabs a bad name. A lot of people hate Muslims and they hate ISIS, and let me rephrase that. They hate Muslims and they hate a lot of Arab people because of ISIS. Okay? And any other terrorist organization that comes out of the Middle East. It makes Arabs look bad. It makes me, every time I see an Arab, I don't really smile unless he has to really say something nice or ask for something that a white person would ask me for in order for me to think that he's an okay dude. Because him just walking around around my country like he owns the place, like he's just free to run around here and do whatever he wants to do, I'm sure ISIS feels the same way. Okay? ISIS gives Arabs a bad name. Okay? And it's the same. It's no different for blacks. It's no different for Spanish people that want to walk around and act like they're some kind of gangster hood knuckle brain. You know, you make it look bad for other Spanish people. I got some very nice Puerto Rican friends. But back in the day, I never met no Puerto Ricans like them. Never met no Puerto Ricans like them back in the day. They were always had the button up here top. They had this always button like this. Okay, and they was always wearing flannel jackets, you know, and always acting bad. And then it's like, you got to talk to them a certain way or they're going to think that, you want to fight about something. You know what I mean? And they were real arrogant and proud for what? For what? For nothing. You got no money. You got no money. You don't have anything legal. What are you so loaded with pride for? But they were like that. But it's getting better. See, they're evolving. They are evolving, especially in this part of the country. They're evolving. And I put that in another video. Black folks need to evolve. I've evolved. I've evolved a long time ago. I told you my story. I evolved back in high school. Okay? But black folks need to evolve. And a lot of people need to evolve. You need to quit trying to be a separate nation inside of a nation that's already a nation. Let me say that again. You need to quit trying to be a separate nation inside of a nation that's already a nation. This is the United States. You don't want to be an American, leave. I dare you. Leave. You think if you think America does not respect your African culture enough, go back to Africa. If you think America doesn't respect your Spanish culture enough, go back to Spain. If you think America doesn't respect the Middle East enough, go back to Saudi Arabia. Okay? If you think America doesn't respect your Asian nation enough, then go back to China. Go back to Japan. Don't come over here with your arrogant pride and act like somebody owes you something. Okay? But I'm talking about blackness. Because why? Because I'm black. Not because I think I'm better than everybody, but like I said, when you are contrary, you make it hard for me. So I'm a preach to black folks. I can't preach to any other nation or race, but I'm gonna preach to my own. Okay? Whatever we do as black should be for the best of all cultures and country. Whatever we do as blacks should be for the best of all cultures and country. And I'm not just saying that for blacks. I'm saying that for all these people that are in this country. Whether you're from the Middle East, whether you're from the continent of Africa, or whether you're wherever you're from. Um, you know, South America, North America, wherever you're from. Um, this right here is the United States. And we as Americans need to be Americans. Okay? Regardless, we need to be Americans. But whatever we do as blacks or any other race should be for the best of our cultures in this country. The country, whatever country that you're in. If I was living in Russia right now, I would respect that I'm part of Russian culture. If I was in China right now, I'd want to know the culture, I'd want to know the language, because I have to respect the fact that I'm part of Chinese culture. And I need to be in agreement with the people around me. Okay? And that was number 4. And, I really get tired, too, of black folks acting like we're all black folks because we're all black folks. No, we're not. No, we're not. We are very divided. This whole Donald Trump thing shows you how divided we are. And Donald Trump supporters, there are a lot of black Donald Trump supporters, more than what was on television and more than what meets the eye. There's a lot of them. And I've only met a couple, though. Okay? Every day, And I met a guy who, and this is another thing I don't support. I met a guy who, in a restaurant, he was an older gentleman. He was an ex-cop, a retired police officer. And we got to talking in the restaurant about, multiculturalism, and we got to talking about how other races are coming into this country and they're building and they're making a place for themselves. And here we are as black people. And we agreed on some things. But when we got to the Donald Trump situation, he was kind of talking and making it up as he went along. He didn't really have facts on anything. He was just making it up as he went along. And I asked him, I'm trying to think what I asked him. I asked him, what is it that black folks need that white folks don't need? What is it? What is it that black folks don't need that white folks don't need? And he started stuttering. And we never got to an answer. And then I asked him, I says, what is it that black folks, no, I said, what is it that white folks have that I can't have? And he gave me some examples. I said, whoa. What, who's going to teach you how to do that? I mean, what he was talking about, I could go up and ask a white man to help me learn how to get it. But I asked him a bunch of questions. I asked him to explain himself. Why he felt that black America needs to be recognized as anything but Americans. He couldn't answer me. Okay. But We are naturally divided as black people for some good reasons and some bad. Here they are. We're divided by education. Black folks that go to college, some of them go to college and it doesn't mean anything. But some of them will go to college, and if they do get placed in jobs and all like that, they will be separate from a lot of other black people. If they do end up in good careers and all that, they'll not only be separated from other black people, but they will be a target of getting shot. Like, you know how many high school kids get shot every day in various parts of the United States because they have arrived, they have done excellently well in school. Everybody's divided by money. White people are divided by money. Black folks are divided by money. Asians are divided by money. Money changes the way people act. It changes their morals. It, especially if you're not a Christian, money is everything. Okay, I'm the same way when I got money. I'm the same way when I don't have money. But a lot of people, you know, give them 40,000 and watch how they spin around. Whether it be negative or better, give them 40,000. Some people will blow that money and do nasty things with it, but other people will just, I don't know, it'll give them a sense of pride. Okay, experience, and I've told several black people this, my experience, and I've put this in the video. I choose to evolve. I put it in that video about my experience. My experience wasn't as bad as some. Like, I got God brothers and sisters. I have a God family. They're older than me. They had experiences with white people that were very violent, as opposed to white people acting like they're going to run me over back in the day, following me around town and harassing me, calling me the N-word while they drive past me, pretending they're going to run me over with a forklift on the job, different things. No, they had they have a violent past with white people. But even they don't play the race card. They don't blame everything on the white man today. They blame the very thing on the white man that was definitely the white man's fault. Them riots that they were having in school was both black and white. But they don't blame everything that they suffer in life on white people, even though they've been through it more than others. But my experience has been different, to where I've received a lot of love and support from the time I was a child to this day. Even right now, while my daughter is just had her baby and she's, none of us have money. She picked a fine time to have a baby, but, I have the support of all these people. Praise the Lord. And most of them are white. Because us black folk just seem like, like we wasn't prepared for this. But white folks were prepared for this, whether they had the money. They're always prepared. Lord help us black folks. Okay, but these white folks were prepared, and they didn't mind sharing that with us and helping us out. So, I told the lady, I just got off the phone with a lady, and I told her, I says, thank you for everything, because she picked a fine time to have a baby. I got nothing. Okay, I can't do nothing for her. And then last but not least, our cultures are different. All so-called black folks are not in the same culture. Just like I'm not in rap culture. I love all kinds of music. I love a little bit of everything from basic popular music all the way to bluegrass. I like me a little bit of country bluegrass. I like me a little wee bit of rap, only about 1%. I like a little bit of everything. My culture is not rap music, okay? And I know a lot of white people like to act like, oh God, he's turning the radio on. Here comes that stupid rap music. Hold on to your seatbelt, buddy, because I'm not a rap freak, okay? And when I'm out in public, I like to listen to music that everybody listens to, okay? All of our cultures are not the same, okay? I come from a culture where we learn how to be good people without the use of millions of dollars, okay? I'm a middle class American that doesn't make the money of a middle class American, but I am a middle class American. I'm a middle class American up here and within the way I carry myself. Okay, but I know a lot of people who, they think that they have to pick. They think that black people don't get to pick. You get to pick your culture. You don't have to be in the rap culture, swag culture, gangster culture, okay, broke culture, hood rat culture, whatever. You can be any kind of black man you want to be. There's no law that says you have to be in a certain culture. There's no law that says you have to pick and choose. That's why I don't support it. So that's the end of it, and I hope I've been helpful to anyone that is struggling with black issues, whether you're white or black. Anyone that is struggling with white issues or worried about the multiculturalism that's plaguing this country, so to speak, if it's plaguing this country in the first place. But thanks for your support and watching my channel. Like I said yesterday, leave a note, say something, put a like or dislike, okay? Thank you very much for watching.